I've been doing research in the third-party logistics industry since 1990. And at that point, there was relatively little attention being given to this industry because it was really in its infancy at that particular point in time. And my original research was on the buy side. Why do companies buy that kind of service? What are they looking for in the marketplace? And then about 15 years ago, I decided to focus on the seller side. So why do companies like UPS and Menlo Logistics and Schenker and so on, why do they have subsidiaries that sell something beyond basic transportation services? And I decided that the best way of getting a sense for that was to shoot at the top of the organizations and aim for the CEOs in those enterprises. And so it's not an easy thing to start. Trying to get one CEO to buy into that on a regular basis is a challenge, and each year we get 35 to buy into it. And the surveys basically ask a number of questions about what's going on within their specific businesses and then ask them to comment on a regional basis, North America, Europe, Asia. What are the things that are driving change in the marketplace? What are the major opportunities that they see in each of those regions? What are the major problems that are confronting them? What are their expectations for the coming year? And we actually get them to give us revenue growth projections for 1 year and 3 year for the companies and also the regional industry as well. And the companies involved in the surveys like to be involved in the surveys. We share aggregate information with them, average information. I don't disclose any information about individual companies. And this year we found some very interesting things. We found, for example, that there is a major movement towards nearshoring taking place that's affecting the clients of these companies. We found that there's been a chronic problem with respect to finding and keeping management talent in the business, and I think we've uncovered some of the reasons as to why that took place and why that continues to be a problem within the industry and what can be done about that as well. We focused a lot of attention on things like the continuing commitment to environmental sustainability on the part of these companies. And a lot of these companies are very much committed to reducing their carbon footprint and have put very broad programs in place over the last 5 years in particular. And we also addressed a series of issues dealing with things like branding of their services, the merger and acquisition movement within the industry, the movement of private equity capital into the industry and how that affects consolidation activity. So again, we have some very interesting findings. Year to year, we ask some of the same questions over and over again for longitudinal purposes, but we also tend to focus, for example, 2 years ago we focused on the impact of the Japanese earthquakes and tsunamis on supply chains and how companies had reacted to that. And we also, the last several years, talked about how these companies are using social media to put the services in the marketplace and build stronger relationships with their customer base.